Our honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today, and thank you for staying here to listen to our presentation. My name is Otto, and here's my partner, Harry. Harry, seems that we are the only local team today making into the final competition, right?
Yeah, it is our honor. And now, let's enjoy our presentation, and we hope this will become a remarkable end in our university life.
Yes, true. And our topic is about the stock market reaction of the Fukushima nuclear accident on energy stores. A 9-magnitude earthquake took place in Japan on 11 March 2011, which triggered a very powerful tsunami. Following the tsunami, one of the nuclear plants in the Fukushima nuclear plant exploded. It has been classified as the highest level of nuclear accident. After the event, some of the study found that the Japanese energy store actually reduced drastically on its stock price. Meanwhile, there are some studies about Europe. The French and German nuclear energy stock price dropped drastically right after the Fukushima event also. Europe, which is 5,000 kilometers away from Japan, which is another place, have a substantial usage on nuclear power. 1/4 of the electricity is actually generated by nuclear within European Union in 2015. 30 years ago, the first highest nuclear accident happened in Europe, Chernobyl nuclear accident. We threatened more than 6.4 million of residents and brought irrecoverable damage. The Fukushima nuclear accident actually revoked this nightmare to the Europeans again. And the European countries start reviewing their nuclear policy. And we can see France and Germany here in this table, right after the Fukushima nuclear accident, and France remained a substantial use on nuclear power. However, Germany decreased it by nearly 10% after the year of the Fukushima nuclear accident. And we think this reaction makes us interesting. So that after reviewing some literatures related and investigating the background of the European countries, we developed 3 hypotheses. The first one, we believe the Fukushima nuclear accident and subsequent events will negatively affect the stock price on nuclear energy stores. Meanwhile, there's a positive effect on the stock price on alternative LNG companies. And thirdly, we believe the different nuclear policy inclination from European regime lead to the variation to the stock price in the markets. And now I pass to Harry to talk about the research method you use.
Thank you, Otto. We have 67 qualified companies included in our research. And there are 9 nuclear companies and 9 conventional companies and 49 alternative energy utilities. We first collect transaction data with 250 transaction days before the nuclear accidents for calculating the alpha and beta. Then we conduct a pair t-test on the beta to see whether there is any significant changes before and after the nuclear accident. Then we will use the estimated alpha and beta and the corresponding market return to calculate the expected return for each day. And the difference between the expected return and the actual return will be the normal return. By adding up all the normal return within a portfolio and divide by number of the companies, we will get the average and normal return for each day. And adding up all together, we will get a cumulative average and normal return. And now here comes to the result of the pair t-test of the beta. Under 5% significant level, the p-value for the alternative energy companies is equals to 0.164. And for the nuclear companies, the p-value is equals to 0.479. While for the conventional company, it is equals to 0.898. The p-value for the above 3 portfolios is 0.05. That means that the beta, the difference of the beta before and after the nuclear accidents are not statistically significant, which means that there is no significant changes between the data. So this makes our estimation of the anomaly return more reliable. And now comes to the empirical result. For the Euro, the nuclear companies, you can see from the graph, their performance was unfavorable. The cumulative average anomaly return was negative in most of the day. And this is consistent with our hypothesis 1. You may see that the cumulative average anomaly return, firstly, decreased by 2.17% for the first day. And then it continues to drop by 1.38% at day 5. And when we compare for the first 25 days, the cumulative average anomaly return actually just dropped by 1.77. And this indicates that the short-term stock price reaction is more considerable than the medium-term one. That means the 25 days. And we try to match our result with the event happened in the accident. From the timeline, day 0, that means the nuclear accident start date. And then 1 day after, the evacuation zone extends to 20 kilometers. And at 13th of March, you may see that actually the accident was classified as a level 4 accident. And at day 1, there is an explosion in the Unit 3 reactors. After considering the jet lag, and you can see that for the cumulative average anomaly return, the above evidence supports the drop of the car, the CAR, from day 0 to day 1. And then, at day 2, there is another explosion. So there is a continuous drop. And while in day 3 and day 4, there is no reported explosion, but there is a severe leakage of the radiation within the power plant. So because there is a lot of uncertainty, so we consider that there is a fluctuation, and as shown in the graph. Starting at day 5, at day 5, the nuclear accident become more severe, and it start to affecting the surrounding areas. And you may see that there is a high radiation detected 30 kilometers around the nuclear plant. So there is a drop starting from day 4 to day 5. Well, from the day 6 onwards, there is no reported explosion, and the nuclear reactor starts under control. So the remaining time is the fluctuation because there is a lot of uncertainty about it. And to reboost our result, we have also tried another method. We have just simply by subtracting the market return from the actual return. And this also got a similar result that most cumulative average anomaly return was negative after the nuclear accident. And also, for the first 5 days, it decreased by 1.82%. And so this has supported our findings. In terms of alternative energy company, you may see that they have a positive result after the nuclear accident. That means the performance was favorable after the event. So this is consistent with our hypothesis too. And for the cumulative average anomaly return, it increased by 2.1% for the first day and continuously increased by 3.63% at day 5. And when you compare to the car at day 25, it just increased by 5.18%. That means the short-term reaction is more significant than the medium-term, the 25 days effect. And after the recalculation, we also got a similar method. We also got a similar result. So the findings also the result also supports our further findings before. And it increased from 3%. And when we talk about the conventional company, it also has a satisfying outcomes when compared with the nuclear company. It also has a positive cumulative anomaly return in most of days. And this also, And when we compare to the nuclear companies, they do not suffer much. So they do not suffer much, but they also have a satisfying outcome. So this has bolstered our hypothesis. And after the recalculation, we also find a similar result that it has a positive cumulative average and normal return in most of the days. So it has also further strengthened our findings before. And you may see that it actually, for the first 5 days, it increased by 2.71%. And now here comes to the result among the country.
Thank you, Harry. According to the World Nuclear Association, there are 12 member states, including Finland and France, decided to continue with nuclear energy. However, Belgium and Germany decided to phase out all of the nuclear power stations. We then divide our car into 2 parts. The first part is from day 0 to day 1, which is showing the immediate impact after the Fukushima nuclear accident. And from second part is from day 1 to day 0, which is the impact after how the governments reacted and the markets expected. Here's a summary about the car for each of the European nuclear stores and energy stores. And we can see from day 0 to day 1, actually for the car of all nuclear industry in the Europe decreased. And while for all of the car for alternative industry increased. However, it reacted differently from day 1 to day 0. For the Finland, the Finnish government decided to continue with its nuclear plan. And we may see there is maybe a favorable impact on the nuclear industry. And we can see from our car, is actually turn is dropped from day 0 to day 1 to an increase to 4.78% after day 1 to from day 1 to day 5, which justify our hypothesis 3, which the supportive government reaction will bring in favorable impact on the nuclear industry. For France, which is famous for its wine, and I personally love it a lot, and also it's famous for its nuclear. 77% of the new energy of the electricity in France is actually produced by nuclear. The French Minister on Energy Industry also confirmed the significance of nuclear after the Fukushima nuclear accident. However, the French nuclear companies, the car, continued to decrease by 4.5% after the day 1, while for the alternative energy company, it increased by 6.3%. We believe one of the reason may be the expectation of investor. Unlike the other European countries, France has a very underdeveloped renewable sector. And we can see the green color right here represent the renewable energy sector, which is less than 5% of the total electricity production in France. The investor may worry about the extreme high usage of nuclear energy. And also, they are looking forward to additional developments on renewable energy. For Germany, which decided to phase out all of its nuclear energy by 2020, here's a photo about a giant anti-nuclear protest in Germany. And not surprisingly, following the decrease from day 0 to day 1, it's continued to decrease by 1.85 for the German nuclear company, while there's an increase in alternative company. Winterbank from University of Oxford stated that there are 5 main reasons on German decision. The first one is the regional election 2 weeks right after the Fukushima nuclear accident. And also, there's an intensive reporting within the German border about this nuclear accident. Third, Germany is actually the leader in the nuclear and renewable energy. And we can see the green color represented renewable energy here. It start replacing the nuclear power from 20 years ago. And also, Germany has a history of nuclear resistance started from World War II. During the Cold War, there are many thousands of nuclear missiles pointed at each other within the German border. And Germans started a phase of nuclear at that time. And fifth is the cultural proximity to Japan. Since these 2 countries developed their infrastructure and identity after the World War II, And what is in his German mind is, what is happening in Japan, it will happen in Germany too. So these 5 main reasons brought a negative impact to the nuclear industry in Germany and lead to the phasing out of nuclear power in Germany. And for Russia, the Russian government decided to continue with its nuclear plan. And however, it decreased by 8.15%. We believe that one of the reasons is the Russian nuclear company is still using the first generation reactor, which is similar to the Chernobyl one. And also, is it the closest country among the observed countries? And the residents there suffer the most from the Chernobyl accident. And now I turn to Harry to talk about our conclusion on results.
Thank you. And to conclude, the nuclear companies in Europe suffered a lot, while for the alternative energy companies and the conventional companies have a favorable performance after the nuclear accident. Also, we discovered that for countries advocating the nuclear power will have a positive impact to its nuclear industry, while for countries opposing the nuclear power will have an adverse effect to its nuclear industry. However, we also discovered that sometimes expectation on the types of the energy and the disclosure of information on the nuclear power plant may override the government policy and bring the adverse effect to its industry.
And one more message we want to bring out from our study on Fukushima nuclear accident is it has been 5 years since the Fukushima nuclear accident. And we can see some of the reports reveal that no one knows where is the nuclear debris is, and also no one knows what the method to clean it up. And also it may need additional 3 or 4 decades to clean up this mess. And apart from that, the surrounding area around Fukushima is still uninhabitable nowadays. The contamination will need 300 years to clean up. And in addition, for a nuclear accident, it's not only about a place or a country. It's also affecting all of the world. It's also affecting all of the human being. And just like what we have done in our project, we found that although the accident is happening in Japan, it still affects the economic issue in Europe. And also we can see the contamination map here also spread to the west coast of North America. And there may be someone say the risk can be avoided. However, there's still a chance that the disaster can happen. Although you can see actually the TEPCO built a seawall, built a wall to prevent for tsunami. And we think that nuclear should be not rely on too much. It is because this is a risk, only a risk, not about company and country. It is a risk for all human beings. Thank you.